English news and reporting.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow, your host. And it's an honor to host this lovely show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the wonderful craftsmen on earth. And altogether, the name Wolfers stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. To the show, with me today is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, and a philosopher and an author and the man of Constitution.
Thank you.
No joking. On the Biweekly Update. With this Biweekly Update, we would like to first do a review of what happened before the week ahead.
Yes, sir.
Of the 26th, right? So, first of all, welcome back to the show.
Jack, this is the happiest place on planet Earth. This is my Disneyland.
All right, good. Me too.
Yeah, it is.
And in spite of the rain.
Absolutely. Beautiful to be in the warmth of your media network.
Thank you very much. And with the celebration of last week, the week before, I believe that you have a bunch to say.
I'd like to say something, yes. Last week, EDI celebrated the 1,370 shows that Jack has done from east to west. And there was a lot of highlighting of Jack's abilities, his concentration, his vision for each segment of the show that he does. And he's a very, very impressive seasoned professional. I'm honored to have spent 250 shows with Jack. And it's a thrill to associate with quality and the vision of Mr. Sue and Jack on bringing the philosophies and cultures of the East and West together, because we need open discussion, communication to kind of assure the peace on planet Earth.
Thank you very much, I'd say, for this beautiful statement. But on my side, I would rather give the whole credit to the EDI team.
Yes.
And to the founder and the CEO of the EDI team, which is the flagship of all the wonderful medias underneath.
It's true.
In which I'm only a worker, and I'm only a newsman doing my job. However, in doing my job, I don't regard this as a job.
Right.
Yeah. It's a school
that
I am attending.
Yeah.
Every single day. Because on a year-round basis, day in, day out, you see different people every single different day.
That's nice.
You learn a lot.
That's right.
You learn a lot. I call them everybody as my mentor. That's how they taught me to be who I am. So that's why I'm getting better and better. I feel inside I'm stronger and stronger. And of course, on the scale, I'm heavier and heavier. Well, that's a fact.
That's life.
That's a fact. Selena warned me yesterday. Say, Jack, you really put on some weight. Well, starting last night, I quit dinner.
Good.
Yeah. All right, good. Anyway, at the celebration, lots of guests are invited.
Lovely group of people.
Yeah, they are representatives of the quality guests. So.
Yes.
I believe it is with them the show has been a success. Otherwise, there's no show at all.
Well, actually, Jack, if you just sat here and talked to yourself, it would not be very successful. And then like myself, I'm a tremendous beneficiary of all of the people that you've had on your shows that have shared their knowledge with you, because it does ooze into my soul also. So you have a great body of knowledge that I benefit from, but also all these other people that enhance your body of knowledge sneaks into my soul. So I'm a lucky puppy.
Yeah. Everybody was enthusiastic.
They were.
At the event, and everybody gave very high recognition of the show. and to their participation, they feel happy about being part of it.
They were honored.
They're honored.
They're honored to be a part of your network.
Very good. And once again, let's talk about the show a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
Why this show so welcome? Why is this show so welcome by the great audiences and by even the guests and according to the VIPs though,
Yes.
who we celebrate with all together on Tuesday last week?
Yes.
I believe that everybody believes this is a good show. So to your opinion, except me myself, right? Why is this show so good, so welcome?
Well, you have an ability to attract quality people to be commentating with you on the show. You have a vision of what subjects are worthy to be shared with your viewers. So you select the subjects. You don't select any person that you do not believe his body of knowledge is not appropriate for what you want to talk about. So you have experts coming in here on subjects that you believe your viewers in the planet should hear about. And you do that beautifully, and it's a quality. I mean, I listen to your shows whenever I can, and there's never a dull moment. You're always thinking ahead, and you're always remembering what you just talked about maybe 20 minutes ago. So people, the show's never boring, put it that way, okay? And because you have people with vitality as your guests, and they also feed off of you. Like I know that I have certain things in my mind I like to talk about, but also I feed off of your vision of what you want me to talk about and what you want to talk about. And so your vision for success is the reason that shows a success.
Yes, you're right. And to make it a more perfect, I would say that it is not a single party vision.
No.
It's the like-mindedness.
Right.
It's the like-mindedness of the group of guys who, I would say, they go by no partisanship, no politics, no nothing but common sense. How about that?
Common sense, and we strive for the truth.
Yes, yeah.
And every one of your guests is like a little brick.
Yeah.
And they all build a beautiful building.
That's why at the event, in everybody's speech, they emphasize on this fact that we stick to nothing but common sense.
Right. Yeah,
common
we
sense.
try our best. We try our best.
And the common sense, by the way, is the only thing that this country, as a nation, is so in lack of.
Right now, you're right.
We need lots of common sense.
Right.
Okay. And the other side of this show, if I would give it a analysis, I would say that to the name, exactly sticking to the name from the east to the west, which is a creation of James Sue.
Yes.
By setting it, he kind of set a foundation of this show to stick about.
And the show has lasted many years, and I believe you will be sharing your soul for many more years.
Yes. And you're talking about the news media. You always talk about a perspective.
Yes, sir.
Right. And speaking of perspective, though, there's always different angles to talk about.
Yes.
Right. We're talking about an elephant in the room. Right. You see a trunk.
Right.
I see a tail.
Right.
Somebody sees a column.
Right.
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 So, however, an elephant is an elephant. An elephant is an elephant that belongs to common sense.
Right.
By dragging the Eastern concept into the nowadays world, though, to look at things around us, at least we're adding one perspective to the room.
And I'm a tremendous fan of Eastern cultures. I love our culture. Our culture is an amalgamation, but there are, the history of China is a pretty definable culture that hasn't changed much over the centuries. So, I benefit from that, because anytime people work together, as in the Chinese history, and continue to improve their understanding of life on planet Earth, it just builds a stronger and stronger culture.
You're right.
The culture is beautiful.
You're right. The other 50% probably I can testify that, speaking of China though,
Yes, sir.
this is an origin that I feel proud about,
Absolutely.
right? This is where I came from.
Yes.
However, I am without adding this many elements that I learned in this country, which I call my country now because
Right.
I swore in already.
Right.
Right? So by adding this many positive elements though, on the origin that I came from, I become a better Chinese.
Well, and-
call it the Chinese American.
Right. And also you have the joy of more of a blended culture because you've been
Yes.
deeply in both cultures. I only have been a little bit in the Chinese culture, so I'm not as blessed as you are in feeling the joy
But
of both
you're
of them
getting
together.
there. You're getting there.
Yeah, because my mind is open and my
I
heart
can
is open.
tell all these years you're getting there. And by the way, with Mr. Ken Hemming, who has finished himself single-handedly 250 shows with me within all the 1,370.
Yeah, what a joy, what an honor.
I'm
thrilled.
What a big chunk.
It's a big chunk.
All right. Okay, my dear friends, let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll come back to the issue of our biweekly update. Please stay with us.
Le bijou icône de Philippe Wolfers qui date de 1902. Il faut la regarder contre la lumière pour avoir toutes les couleurs de ce bijou qui est extraordinaire. Avec les opales, c'est un thème très à la mode, à la période Art Nouveau. On voit en argenterie, mais aussi en peinture. Et ça a à voir aussi quelque chose un peu symbolique. Une libellule, c'est très belle quand on la voit de loin, mais quand on l'approche, c'est comme un dragon en anglais. On dit un dragonfly.
C'est une des grandes figures de l'Art Nouveau. Et cette pièce, mieux que n'importe quelle autre, témoigne de sa virtuosité. L'opulence, le raffinement, les courbes et les couleurs, et puis le thème aussi, qui raconte une époque. Libellule a été réinterprétée, plus légère, mais c'est bien à son aïeul qu'elle fait référence, une pièce désormais accessible à tous, puisqu'elle est passée de la boutique au musée.
Everything expected to change. It's like it seems on waves.
My name is Paul James. I host English News.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the show Jack Chow on the East West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on the global earth. Together, the name Wolfers stands for a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. Back to the show. For the last week, though, what is the most important issue?
Well, there's a couple things going on. I want to look at this as if we're 10 miles up from space looking down on planet Earth. Because on one of the views, we're looking over to England, where NATO, a treaty organization that has 29 country members whose purpose is to defend each other when challenged with aggressive enemy action. And so over there, we have President Trump there. Here in America, at the same time, I think with very evil intent, the Judiciary Committee of the House is holding more kind of circus testimonies from people trying to get the president removed from office. Now, with President Trump and NATO, there's a lot of interesting things. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about NATO first.
Right. I want to. And one thing, like one of my highlights, because I've watched everything I can. One of my highlights is seeing President Trump and his wife, meet the Queen again. And it was, the Queen. I like the Queen of England. I mean, since 1952, she's been Queen, and I like the monarchy over there. And then President Trump, it's like, say, Jack, if President Trump was sitting here and you and I were here, it'd be like we're sitting with Elvis Presley. Because when President Trump is there, he is the center stage for all activities, everything he says. If he burps, the world shakes. And it's so interesting because we haven't had a president like that. And when he's met with Macron and Merkel of Germany and that, then they have these long joint press conferences with the press answering many questions. So Trump has hours of essentially press conferences during this NATO meeting. Now, the most entertaining one was with Macron of France. Now, number one thing France is doing is they want to tax 3% of revenue generated by like Google and Facebook in France. So they want to tax our IT.
Tax us.
Yeah, they want to tax our companies, okay? Now, here's the cool thing. So President Trump goes, okay, that's fine. We're just going to put tariffs on your wine, your cheese, and your luxury goods. He says, we're going to tariff your wine 100%. Your $30 bottle, 60 or whatever. And they're they're going to work it out. They like each other. They disagree on certain things. Macron said a couple things that I think are very negative and damaging. He said that NATO was brain dead as to how they should be focused now. No, that's like calling your wife ugly. You know, you just don't do that. There are certain things you just don't say. Okay, but he did, and also then President Trump, because they got a lot more open borders over there, and President Trump said, Mr. Macron, would you like some ISIS fighters? We can send you as many as you want, okay? Because we've had stabbings in England, killing more people than terrorists still exist, but so. So together, those guys are kind of like a nice act, but they're friendly. They respect each other, and then after they have this nice press conference, then somebody takes a zing at at each other, which is fine. And then he met with Merkel, and there wasn't, I don't know, any real deep substance to that meeting. Now, he has avoided meeting individually with Boris Johnson, who's the premier or chief of England, because next week there's a huge new election, and President Trump's smart enough not to get in the middle. He thinks Boris, and I hope and pray Boris Johnson is elected. The other guy is much more of a socialist and has a different vision for the future of the country. So, and then there's 29 members. Now, one interesting thing, I love this too, because Trump's the big boy in the crowd. Okay, everybody listens to him. Nobody does press conferences like him. Nobody does it. And when they had a picture of all of these 29 members with the Queen, who's sitting next to the Queen? President Trump. He's always got center stage. However he does it, but I believe he's representing our country in a very honorable way. Oh, the big thing is the agreement is all the members are supposed to spend 2% of their gross national product, GNP, on NATO defense. And though only 4 countries do it now, and France is like 1.2%. And he's pushed all of these countries to increase what they're giving for their common defense by $130 billion since he was elected. They believe that by 2024, it will be $400 billion. So an important thing is Trump he has criticized NATO, but his criticism is strengthening NATO. And we have to have a strong NATO because, like, coming up, we have Iran, Russia, and China doing common military exercises, and we have to have, something to offset that. So anyway, I'm proud when he's over there. And then, of course, the media, I don't know how they pick on Mrs. Trump so much, but her dress is no good, her hair's no good, everything's no good. Her wife, and they worship Michelle Obama.
They have to have something to keep themselves busy.
Right, and it's classless, no dignity, and no ethics.
No, ignore that.
Well,
and I like your lovely statement.
Thank you.
I like your whole summary and cover up of the whole thing. All right, coverage of the whole thing. I like especially one term that you mentioned, that he burps, the world shakes.
Yeah, right.
And I like that. I love that. And for the past 4 years, almost 4 years though, he did prove that. Right?
Yes.
And it was exactly my concern. I let you I want to share with you some of my mind.
I love it.
Right after he took office, because the fact was that I was not a supporter
Yes, sir.
of his, which later I changed. That's a different story.
Yes, sir.
At that very point, though, I felt, as an American myself, any disrespect to our president would hurt me.
That's right.
I want to be
You're right.
to be number one, no question.
Right.
I want our president to be number one, of course, out of question.
Right. And treated with dignity.
Yes. And then that was the point. I doubted with a president who tweets and does whatever he wants at any moment, and with a big mouth and comment on everything, with no taboo, no nothing at all. Are we, or is he going to be respected?
Well,
Right.
our country is thriving.
That was my concern
Right.
at that time.
At that
though.
time.
For the past years, though, it is proven with the U.S. economy picking up, with the stock exchange market picking up, with the world reputation picking up,
Yes.
and especially at the moment when he criticized the NATO for
Yes.
the members, for the 29 members, for the other 28 members not doing their share
Yeah.
of the NATO fees.
It's been getting weaker. NATO.
For example, you join the union.
Yes, sir.
Union has union fees.
Correct.
If you join any organization has organization fees,
Very good point.
right? So like a membership fee. For your failure to come up with the fees, though, Mr. President Donald Trump
Yes.
did point out that I want to walk out of NATO
Well, not to really.
if you guys do not do your job.
Well, he put pressure on them
Yeah.
to man up to their commit. They have a legal commitment, and they're
Right now, to
ignoring it.
look back, though, that it was necessary pressure,
Yes.
that a necessary step forward rather than backward. Now that the members are more realized that they have their obligations to do.
Well, and a year ago, there were only 4 countries that were meeting their 2% obligation. Now there are 9, and they predict by 2024 there will be 18. So he's working its way up, and the budget's going to go up, increase by $400 billion. So it's going to be a stronger, better weapons, better training, better preparation for defense.
After all, it's
a
otherwise
defensive deal.
After all, it's going to be otherwise United States money anyway,
That's right.
because we're doing it out of our pocket.
Well, Macron did also say, well, I'm not sure we can count on the United States anymore to protect us. Well, why don't you man up and put in what you're supposed to? And, the United States
Well, that makes
will
sense.
always.
That makes sense.
But it makes sense.
We have a president who is thinking of backing off,
Yeah.
right? To back off is not a bad deal because that's a threat. That's a pressure,
Well, it makes them respond.
right?
Because they need us.
Yeah, sure. All right, my dear friends.
That's great, Jack.
I believe that for the past 2 days, President Donald Trump has done a tremendous, marvelous job in England, meeting all the members there, and he did show himself, and it is a proven fact. He was the center of the eye,
He was the center of the attention
the center of the eye.
wherever
right?
he walks.
All right, my dear friend, let's take a moment out. When we come back, we'll find out what does he have to do after coming back to home, after the NATO summit. So, well, there are days and hard days ahead of him. Stay with us, please.
Everything expected to be straight. It's like the scenes on
My
Wayne.
name is Paul James. I host the news.
and a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, friends, my dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West Show. That is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on earth. The name of welfare stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. Gloriously and splendidly, President Donald Trump had quite a show in Europe with the NATO members, in front of the Queen, in front of all the leaders from France, from Italy, from all the major countries, all the 29 members in Europe. Now he's coming back. And according to Associated Press, he left, and he left in a hurry.
Oh, from there?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he had a press conference scheduled.
He left by canceling his originally scheduled conference.
Right.
Right after, right at the end of the NATO conference.
Right.
Of the NATO summit.
Yeah.
Right. That was canceled. He jumped on the helicopter in a hurry.
Right.
And went to the airport and going back home.
Yes.
Right. So according to AP, was waiting for him. They cooked a big pot
Of?
The impeachment for him.
Yeah, right. When he gets back here. It's going on right now.
Okay. What do you know about the impeachment? Which is going on this very minute when you and I are talking. They are exchanging questions and answers.
I'm not sure what the future has, Jack, because our radical socialists, there's still moderate Democrats that are normal people. But this radicalization that's happened is just like the rules for radicals, a book that was written, and they're just following, which I've read. I've got to read it again. It's only maybe an hour read. But it's all these rules, keep telling a lie until people believe it, and just keep denying anything that you're doing wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And so right now then, I call it a circus going on in the Judiciary Committee, chaired by a guy named Nadler. Now say in Venezuela, the people...
By the way, I overheard on my way in this morning.
Yes, sir.
Of the 4 members of the Judiciary Committee,
okay,
3 of them are Democrats, only 1 Republican.
No. Was
that right or was that wrong?
Yeah, that's a different deal. I think they had 4 attorneys testify today. 3 of them were committed Democrats that testify that Trump has impeachable offenses. The 4th one, who also did not vote for Trump, says no, he has not. And the experts, he hasn't done anything. They have nothing. So it is a circus of lie after lie after lie.
I trust what I heard, overheard of, was not attorneys.
Well, there's a lot more people on the committee than that.
They're talking about the members.
Well, the members probably got 20 or 35 people on the committee. It's not 4 people. It's a lot.
All right.
But it's chaired by Jerry Nadler.
Maybe I was wrong. However, I really want a fair result coming out of whatever hearing.
Well, here's what's going to happen. It won't be fair. They show 1,000% disrespect to the existence and the election of President Trump. They only breathe to try to destroy him. And if they try to destroy him, they are destroying our country. It's just so foolish, without merit, to do what they're doing. Now, they're committed to it for whatever their reasons are. And then if ever there's a future Democratic president and there's a Republican Congress and Senate, we can go tit for tat and wipe them out too. But what's going to probably happen, I'm not sure they'll even get the votes to impeach him. There'll be no basis for it. If they do, quote, impeach him, then it just goes to the Senate for a trial, and the Republicans control the Senate, and the judge would be the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. There's no way in heaven that he's going to be convicted and removed from office. So what they're doing is they're just diverting attention from the fact that they have 15 candidates left, none of which are particularly attractive or are pro-American, They're really very pro-American with all their socialist things to, like one guy says, we got to tax the poor more because that'll help them live a better lifestyle. There's a lot of silly things.
According to Associated Press, there is one report with a little comment.
Okay.
normally when there's a report, there's no comment. That's just a report of the fact,
Okay.
right? However, this one had a little comment saying that it sounds that it is elevated to a partisan war.
Well, it's total partisan.
Partisan war.
It-
Now,
it-
I know.
it's not supposed to be.
You can say it, I can say it. However,
Yeah.
At Associated Press, though, well, from a perspective of news, though, they don't want to give that kind of summary.
Well, all I was-
However, they did.
Yeah.
However, they did. It's kind of like a partisan war. Do you think we are really entering into a partisan war?
Oh, it could get worse, Jack. It could get violent. It could get worse. It is because. But what's going to happen? I just don't believe America will ever elect a socialist. And I've said this before. I went to Independence Hall where our Constitution and Declaration was signed. I've been at the battlefields at Gettysburg and Vicksburg. I've been at a World War II museum, and millions of guys died for our freedom. If we ever elect a socialist that wants to diminish our freedom, they will have all died in vain. And I've told probably 50 or 100 people that so far, nobody disagrees. If we don't maintain the Constitution as the foundation for our existence that offers freedom.
So far, I don't smell anything that this impeachment has anything to do with socialism. Right?
Oh, the
because we
impeachment-
don't have a socialist party or whatsoever, or well, we may have one or two representatives, but we don't have them at all strong enough as a party.
Most of the
So-
candidates are spewing socialist
Only some of the
stuff.
candidates.
Most.
They smell.
Most.
They smell socialist, whoever.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
This country is no longer, we passed the time of the argument of whether socialism or capitalism or forever, and we have gone through a route that is proven to be the only right route to humanity.
Jack, I love your optimism.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk to kids now, college and teenagers that have been brainwashed since kindergarten about the evils of capitalism and the joy of freedom, of free stuff through socialism, they are dumb enough to vote in a socialist. If they get enough people, they're dumb enough. And like Elizabeth Warren, she says, I hope that I'll be the president and I'll be the last president ever elected with Electoral College. The Electoral College, we should do a whole segment or show on it sometime, is mandatorily necessary to have all of the people in all of the states properly represented, where otherwise it'd be the East Coast and West Coast. They could vote in any dictator they want. And so it's very serious times. It's very serious times. And a lot on the left, they support violence. They don't even, they call me a fascist or a racist. They don't even know what it means, okay? I mean, literally, it's just whatever dirty word you can say to anyone that doesn't agree with your thinking, then you're a bad person.
I know.
Yeah.
Remember, speaking
We've
of
lost
socialism,
freedom of speech.
Speaking of socialism, remember you and I the other day when talking about socialism, though,
Yes, sir.
I pointed out one huge point, that
Okay.
we do not have the money.
Oh, we don't have the money. Yeah,
Of course.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, you may choose to go socialist road or whatsoever,
It-
but we don't have the money.
We'd end up like Venezuela. We'd be a disaster.
sure.
If you took every dollar, every billionaire, there's only about 400 in America, took every dollar, you couldn't possibly afford any of those
Yeah, we
programs.
don't have
The money's
money.
not there. You can't
We
print it
don't have
fast
money.
enough. Yeah.
Unless
Thank you. That's
unless
good.
the billionaires, zillionaires, they become a socialist. They say, "Hey, here's my money."
There's still not enough.
All right, they like doing flyers. All right, everybody has one.
But there's not enough money.
They're not. They're not. They're not. And by looking at the national assets, though, we do not have the money of doing that thing. So that could be only a slogan, only a call, only some noise. That's it. Don't worry.
our
I
national-
never worry about Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders.
in there.
I never do worry about them.
Yeah.
What I do
I agree
worry
with
is
you.
about right now, with this impeachment, is he or is he not going to be reelected? That is my concern.
That's all I care about. And I believe he will be reelected in a landslide, and that the Republicans or the the constitutional people in America that like our Constitution will take over the House again. All of these, if these 31 Democrats that won over the Republican incumbent in 2018 to give the control to the Democratic Party, most of them will not be reelected. Because if they vote, because Trump won all of those sections, all of those districts, he won it. And so when they voted for Trump and then they voted in this Democrat and they're trying to get rid of the results of the election, they will be out of office.
Strategically,
Yeah.
of course, what you're saying is understood by both parties.
I think
Even understood by them who are the launchers of the impeachment.
the commitment of hatred is
Right.
incalculable.
What if we take a moment now, we come back to talk about it? Exactly talk about it.
I'm right here.
All right,
Thank you.
good. All right, my dear friends, let's be coming back, and we will pick up the issue from right this point. Stay with us. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West, which is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on earth. And altogether, the name Wolfers stands for a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. Back to the show and back to the point where we just stopped at the end of the last segment, though. We were saying about the fact that everybody knows, it is everybody that knows what this impeachment will lead about.
That's true. I
Right.
think that's a
Because till the very last end of the day, you're talking about 66 votes in the Senate,
Yes, sir.
right?
Right.
So by looking at numbers, you count on numbers, they do not have 66 votes.
If I were a Democrat, even a radical one, I would consider this the wrong path to choose to try to become
That's
elected.
exactly what I'm talking about.
And they're blinded.
Knowingly, that's the wrong path.
They do know
wrong
it.
route.
They
Right?
do know it.
Wrong path.
Yep.
Right? They still do. They still are doing it.
I just hope they see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Let me give you an example. During the Cultural Revolution in China,
Yes, sir.
the same thing happened. All right. Of course, that was not time talking about a president.
Yes, sir.
Talking about you and me,
Yep.
the regular folks. Regular folks. All right. I can write a letter to the security service saying that, let's say, Ken Hamming robbed a bank last night,
I'm following you carefully on this.
right? And then with a stamp,
Yep.
which cost 8 pennies,
Yep.
pennies with a stamp. You throw it in the mail,
Yep.
all right? You're in trouble.
I know.
They started the investigation right away.
Right.
Say the investigation lasts for 2 years. And you were scheduled to get married within a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your fiance is gone Everything is gone. Everything about you is gone because of the investigation.
Your future
because
is
of
gone.
the 8-penny stamp.
Right, exactly.
Because of the letter. All right.
Even anonymously.
Yeah. Till the very last end, though, 2 years later, they discovered Ken Hemming is a clean guy.
Right.
Right?
It is too late.
I, the composer of the letter, is nowhere to be found.
Right, that's right. Point
Right.
well taken.
Yeah. I am nowhere to be found, and yet you end up the one suffering from the 2 years of 3 years of investigation. You lose everything.
Very good point, Jack.
You
Very
know,
dangerous
this
world.
situation reminds me of what happened in China so many years ago.
Yeah.
So, am I on the right route of thinking?
Yes, you are. And then, see, what's going to be interesting is, say, 80 years from now, when everybody looks back on President Trump's 1 or 2 terms in office, they're going to go, what were they complaining about? The economy's fantastic. We have respect again. NATO's been strengthened. The world is a safer place. He's talking to North Korea, and he's putting pressure on Iran. Iran is unbelievably failing right now. And in their failures, they have just slaughtered well over 500 people that are trying to protest. Try to go protest in Iran. Here, somebody could say, Ken, you're a fascist, you're a pig, and they have the right to say that. Unfortunately, it doesn't bother me. I go, oh, good, say it again. But over in Iran, protest, you can't do it, or they kill you. And literally, so this is the danger in the world right now. Freedom of speech. It's the same, protesting is just freedom of speech. Now, it can't be dangerous protests like by burning down buildings, but
Yeah, let's go nowhere else.
Yeah.
Let's go nowhere else, but stick to the point, right?
Yeah.
The point is that knowingly this is not going to work.
they know it's not going to work.
And also on the other side of the store of the coin,
Yeah.
which is the fact that it will bring you trouble.
It will. They will
It
fail
will give
in the
you
next
trouble
election.
sometime,
Yeah.
right? And during the period of time, you may lose your fiance.
Yeah.
You may lose your house. You may lose your
That's right.
job.
Yeah.
Even though till the very end you were proven to be a clean guy
Yeah.
who has done nothing wrong, but it's too late,
Yep.
right? So could this be the part that even though knowingly they know this will not work out, they are still doing it?
They're doing political suicide because of the American people.
That's the third. That's the third
Oh,
issue.
okay.
I'm on the second issue.
Thank you.
The second issue is that to smack on you,
Yeah.
there's some defamation whatsoever.
Defamation
Let
of
it do as
character.
much as it can do. How about that?
They cannot possibly defame inappropriately President Trump more than
I
they have.
know.
Yeah.
Listen, of course,
I'm sorry.
knowingly it cannot do 100% defamation to anybody.
Yeah. Because people don't believe
then
them.
let's still do it.
That's right. And they're
Better,
doing it.
well, something is better than nothing, right?
And I'll tell you, in her heart, I do not particularly respect Nancy Pelosi. She doesn't really want to be doing this. She's been pushed into this by the radical left, where she can't back out. She'd like to back out.
Remember, you and I were talking about the fact that the impeachment was launched before the hearing of the content of the call of the whisper.
Actually, it was launched 19 minutes after President Trump was installed as our president. The Washington Post said the impeachment process has begun. 19 minutes after he was sworn in as president. So, and even before, their whole purpose has been to destroy him because he's not in the deep state. Okay, in both parties. Okay, if they're there too long, they get sort of corrupted. You agree with this, term limits, maybe 2 terms for a senator, 3 for a congressman, then go home, get a job. Because when they're there 30, 40 years, everyone's corrupted because the lobbyists just keep throwing money and whatever
They're
at 'em.
becoming professional troublemakers.
They are, and they lose the vision that they work for you and I. They think we are their subjects, subject to their whims of decisions. And they're wrong. They work for us.
They are of the people, from the people,
Yeah.
and for the people.
100%. Thank you, my American citizen friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that, Jack.
Now you're looking back, say, with the economy, which is the part that I was convinced by.
Yeah.
Looking at the stock market, which is also another part
Yeah.
that I was convinced by.
Yeah.
That dragged me from going too far,
Right.
dragged me over, right?
Closer to the middle.
And we are a safer place to live.
We are.
The world is a safer world,
It is.
right? So
'Cause we're stronger
So
militarily.
at this very moment, though, I know that everybody knows, including the launchers, including Nancy Pelosi, that she needs 66 votes,
Right. And they're not going to get it.
right? And then they are not going to get it.
Yeah.
And yet
You'd have
they
to
are
have
still,
20 Republican
and then
senators.
yet they are still doing it. You know what? Associated Press,
Yes.
in one of the report today, quote a statement made by a strong member,
Yes.
Republican member of the Judiciary Committee,
Yes, sir.
saying that it is just they don't like him.
Yeah. No, because he's not one of them. He's not corruptible.
And then
And
he
he's
says,
a businessman.
and then, then he says, it's not impeachment. It's only a railroad work.
It is. That's right. It's, now they're talking, well, maybe we should censure him instead of try to impeach him. Well, the president says, no, I haven't done anything. You're not going to censure me. Don't censure me. Either impeach me if you want, and then let's go to trial. I'll pull in Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler. I mean, their evil goes all the way back before he
What is
was
Adam
elected.
Schiff doing this time, at this moment?
Well, right now he's such an egotist. He thinks he's brilliant and leading the way, but he's like a lemming, leading them to destruction, the destruction of the party. And he will have to come and testify. If it goes to trial, he will have to testify. And he was already talking to the whistleblower 2 months before the whistleblower's report. And there's nothing to blow on a whistle. There was nothing that happened. And the Ukrainians, the big thing that's going to happen is Biden and his son going to be some big activities on that about their corruption and money laundering. So you've got Biden, who's kind of more like a semi-middle kind of American, and then the more radical people over there. And then Buttigieg or something, he's kind of coming up in the polls.
Okay.
But they never say he's
And
married
just
to
now-
a man. America's
just
not going to
now,
invite that.
A while ago, you mentioned accidentally about the fact that it will bring damage to themselves. So,
They will. They're hurting
yeah,
themselves.
let's talk a little bit about that part.
Yeah. It's like spitting in the wind. It comes right back in your face. The American people, basic people like us, Jack, they see that this is just a circus, a travesty, and collusion to destroy a duly elected president of the United States. And we know it. So once we go voting, okay, and the other thing is we have a 3.5% unemployment rate. When people have a job, busy hands are happy hands. They want to keep their job. And like right now, the black and Latinos unemployment rate all-time low. And they're saying maybe Trump can get 34% of black votes this time because he's helping them.
So what else do we want?
That's what we want. We need 4 more years
What
of
else?
him. Well, and then we'll see who succeeds him after 5 more years, after his next term. And we just have to, I think the socialist thing will fizzle out. I think
Do you
it
think
will
it's
fizzle
too
out.
early to give a conclusion, or probably, if I say like by primary, things will become clearer?
Well, let me say something else. Like right now, Google and Facebook, they've thrown off 300 political ads for President Trump. They deleted them. So we have these major media networks also trying to assure some Democrat socialist gets elected. And these guys are like billionaires, and yet they're not supporting the Constitution. I don't understand it. But
I don't want to criticize anybody at this moment, though. I would like to wish that things go on while everybody exposing themselves
Yeah,
to
right.
the public,
Right.
so that we can have a better look
Yep.
in the short future.
And also,
How about
pretty
that?
soon, Attorney General Barr will be releasing information that will show what's happened in the last 3 years.
Very good. All right. Okay, my dear friends, we're a little over time, but we're happy. Thank you for watching, my dear friends. And to Ken, thank you very much for sharing your beautiful thoughts.
I love you and your viewers so much, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you.